Welcome back. We are now headed into our Week 11 matchups. Tonight we're going to go over our schedules, and then there's a bunch of entries all around the league, mainly in receiving cores and pass catchers. A couple of running backs are still kind of banged up, but receiving cores around the NFL have been shifted, and so we'll have some ideas in there. We'll talk a little bit about Thursday night's game, and then we'll go into our schedule for the week.
Ooh, good timing, Brian. You piece of shit.
Hey, man, we're just going to roll right into it. We're just going to roll right into it.
Hey, so Brian,
okay, shh, relax. Okay, sorry. You're good. Okay, we're still live. I'm just keeping this. All right.
You're trash.
Hey, how we doing?
Kind of a person. Oh my god.
So without further ado, we'll go over Thursday night real quick. I know me and Ditz talked about it a little bit, but I have three things that I think now are pretty obvious. You can play Christian Watson every week.
Sure.
You can play Treylon Burks every week. And I'm going with it. Since he's been back, Treylon Burks has had plenty of opportunity with Tannehill.
Green Bay has a terrible defense.
He still will throw at him.
I don't care.
I'll take it. If you have to take a pass catcher for the Titans, it's certainly not Robert Woods. It's definitely Treylon Burks.
Let me go to my trash receiver league. We'll see what he put up.
Trash.
I'll let you know.
He's not on that roster. And then obviously, Derrick Henry's going to do Derrick Henry things pretty much every time it's cold out.
He's such a cunt. Fuck Derrick Henry.
It's tough, man.
Did you guys see that passing touchdown?
I didn't see it.
Did you see that garbage?
It was a dot.
It was not.
Spiral.
It was a fucking dunk, dude. I was a beautiful. Outside of if I wasn't playing Henry, I would have been fine with it. But it was like perfect fake to Henry. Drops back like he's gonna throw to an out route to the left, right? And then you just see Henry shuffle up like Henry does. You know, he just waddles up to the line, and then he just goes, eh.
Yep.
And then Hooper on the outside. Nobody saw him.
That's right.
I hate that play.
Yep.
That could have been Tannehill so easily. It did not need to be a trick play, but fuck it, whatever. Just
I forgot one too.
Them.
It's also obvious that I think Aaron Rodgers has finally realized, like, you're not getting anyone else. You will throw to Lazard or Watson or Cobb, or you will get off the field because that's all you're getting this year. Mm-hmm. And if that's not enough, tough titties, dog. There's nothing I can do for you.
True.
I mean, Randall Cobb looked good in his first game back off of IR. He needed a lot of rest in between plays. When he gets back into condition, that's certainly maybe we can talk about a flex appeal because he has a lot of natural chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. But he was definitely his bailout route on a lot of like third downs, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, things like that. So that was encouraging to see. Other than that, it was a extremely fast game because every drive was like 8 minutes long. So each team had the same philosophy. We're going to stay on the field as long as possible so the other team doesn't stay on the field.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they had the exact same game plan. It's funny.
It somehow worked only for the one side, though. Because, goddamn, I felt like I never saw Rodgers with the ball in his hand.
It's frustrating because Christian Watson took off for like on a dart, like it was a 50-50 ball. They threw on a penalty, and it was Christian Watson who brought it down. I was like, this should be a great game. And then they didn't see the field for like 12 minutes.
Nope, that next drive was like the slowest, methodical.
They didn't even get out of the 20. It's embarrassing.
No.
But so we'll push into. I mean, if you're ended up in, what I would say is, am I nearly as like vocal as Christian Watson being a dude that could be super helpful down the stretch? I'm not sure. I'm going to keep playing him. I think the chemistry continues to grow. I think Lazard is very playable too. I think that when Lazard had 2 bad drops, Rodgers threw to him a 3rd time, and he finally fucking just stuck it in his chest. And he made a big play, right? So
also those 2 drops, that one was behind him.
One was bad. Yep,
and
agreed.
Then the one was like, I think the one was that he was going to run a post, but he like
they were
stopped
off the
80,
same page.
He like stopped at like the 80 point, and he just threw it way like good 10 yards in front of him.
It was way out there.
Yeah.
No, agreed. The first one was definitely behind. I will say it was behind. I think it's catchable.
Hit hands.
It hit hands, but it would have been a tough play. I will agree.
Rodgers played bad last night. I don't really put that on the receivers. But I also told you before the game, Jim. I said I don't really like starting him because he's not been playing good ball. But Watson got those touchdowns, but it's like eventually they're going to play a good defense.
It did work out.
If you're still starting Aaron Rodgers at this point in the career, I think it's time to maybe look at somebody.
You might even go
Rodgers
with Danny Dimes.
Is starting because. I mean, RD though. I know they win, but winning and being
NFL. I'm talking fantasy.
Yeah, that's
of
what I'm
course, this is a fantasy show.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Although,
But-
before we move off from that game,
There you
Ray, who did you start that worked out?
Oh,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm driving home from work.
Yeah.
I got released like 15 minutes before the game started, and I was texting Jim before this, and I'm like, I got Brissett in. I had Brissett and Tua. I had forgotten that Tua's bye week hadn't passed
Mhm.
already because of his injury. In my head, that was his bye week. So I'm like, fuck, man. I haven't been
Yeah, and
maintaining
we didn't know
this backup
too that the game had
position.
been moved yet. To be fair, we did not
True.
know it was moved to an
Right.
indoor stadium yet.
So
Still.
I'm like, I haven't been maintaining this backup QB situation because I thought I was going to rock with Tua the whole season.
Yeah.
I was not.
The
So
one
I had to
week-
make a decision. And it's Brissett is going to be against Buffalo. And in my opinion, Brissett was the second best option of those dudes that I showed you, Jim. Mills
Yeah.
is risky. Mac Jones is hella risky.
Dog,
So it's
this
like-
market Ray sent me a picture of. I was like, ooh,
It's disgusting.
ooh,
So
buddy.
Jim's
Matt
not a
Ryan
fan of
was his best
Tannehill.
choice.
Yeah, I would. Yes, Matt Ryan was
Matt Ryan
my
was his best choice.
I'm
That's
not
how bad
starting
it
Matt
was.
Ryan. So I was like, "Hey, man, Jim, do I send it with Tanny?" And he was like, and then we talked about it, and you're like, "Fuck it, sling it." And
We're ride or die.
I was 50-50 on it. I'm driving
Yeah.
home. I was driving home on my phone, but I was like looking at it, man. I'm losing seconds. I've got literally like 30 seconds to lock before Tannehill locks. I click claim. Right after I clicked claim, the page refreshed and he locked in, and I was like, "Fuck, here we
Oh.
go." And before I got home, he had already had a touchdown. He had a great.
Yeah, he
game,
threw that
26
one to
26 points.
the backup guy, Hilliard. Threw
Hilliard,
it to
yeah.
Hilliard on a dot. Fucking roped it in
Right off the
and
corner.
just hit him
Yeah,
in
it
the
was pretty
face.
good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
26 points. That's after 3 sacks and an interception.
Yeah.
It could have been, a 30-point game with that. And if Derrick Henry's punk ass doesn't throw that touchdown,
Throw that
in Tannehill,
touchdown, and it's
then
a
it's a
little dump
30-point
off.
game. So it
Yeah.
absolutely worked out for me.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying you should start Tannehill now.
No,
It's
don't do that.
unbelievable
No.
that he got 26 points for me. But it did work out.
But it worked out. And
It
it
worked
was
out.
happening. He had Watson. I had Watson in. He had Tannehill in. We watched this deranged version of a football game, and it was all right. It could have
Somehow
been
worked out for us both.
Yeah.
Not the Packers, though. Thank
Yeah.
God. That's
But
right.
let's go ahead and get into our beefy schedule, which is close to the time. Starting next week is when all the major division games really start popping off. But it even starts
is.
this weekend. So, Brian, I know
Yes,
this
sir.
is in the afternoon game, but we'll go ahead and dip into it. We'll come back around. Cincinnati goes to Pittsburgh. How you feeling, Brad? You feel free to chime in. How you feeling about this?
Well, I mean, I don't really know because of the fact of the Bengals walked in and tried to play the Browns and got that L.
Yeah, but the
But
Browns
then
have
again,
Brissett. They have
you're-
the Jacoby Brissett.
Oh,
what
I'm
are you
sorry. I
gonna-
didn't
what are you
realize he
gonna
was
do?
so much better than
Here's
Kenny
where it
Pickett.
gets super
He's miles
because the
better than
Steelers
Pickett.
have the first W over Cincinnati to begin the year.
That's
so
true.
If Pittsburgh can beat Cincy
Mm-hmm.
and then beat Baltimore and beat Cleveland, they
Yeah.
actually have a shot.
There's
pretty
still a
decent
possible.
shot
There's
of
What
still
making
a
the
the
possible
fuck
chance
happened
to
in
take the
Pittsburgh?
division.
Because I
Yeah.
remember you two were slobbing each other's knobs about how good that defense was that first game, and it's been
Oh,
gone the entire
injuries.
season.
It's-
Oh my god!
Well,
Once you,
Injuries.
because once you, let's
Injuries
say once you
got-
take the
TJ tore his pec in that game, right?
once we
He's
tore the
gonna hit
pec,
it
we,
out
we
after
lost heavily on the pass rush, which is where our secondary gets a little
Oh,
bit of coverage.
Yeah.
And like,
Does it
because our
suck?
secondary, just because we have Making Fitzpatrick doesn't mean we're all good in the secondary. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
No.
Yeah. Does
But-
it suck having weak secondary, having your fucking backups and third strings in?
Buffalo
Yeah.
can tell.
I don't
talk
know
about
anything
that.
about that. Yeah.
I wish,
Yeah.
it's a struggle, but
Yeah,
I
Handing
think this is
greatest
going to
catches
be
of all
a
time to
head-to-head
players.
matchup.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really close game, just because
Is Spinka, is Fitzpatrick
because
back?
Joe Burrow doesn't have a fucking offensive line either.
couple
We
things.
learned that in the first game.
Couple things. One, the weather is going to be very Pittsburgh friendly. Okay, start there. It's going to
Absolutely.
be cold as a bitch, right?
I hope
It's gonna
them
be cold as a
I hope
bitch.
them pigeons are on the field again.
Yeah, well, the snow will be there.
They were
so the
buzzing, man. They were
Yeah.
Yes,
crazy.
sir.
yeah,
Love them
so
pigeons.
yeah. So if you don't know, Ray, there's a running joke about
Don't know.
pigeons on Steelers field,
Yeah.
and it's really funny because like an army of pigeons is behind the offensive drive sometimes.
They'll just
for
sit
no
on the 50
fucking
yard line.
reason.
They just don't
no
leave.
reason. They don't leave.
They don't leave.
And so
Spooky ass
there are
birds.
pigeons on the field all the time.
Mhm.
So that's what we're alerting to. So
How have I
so-
never noticed that watching?
I don't know.
I've,
We're
I've been
2-0
watching
in
this thing
shows.
get their ass beat for years. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right?
It was before the game too. They were
Yeah, don't worry about
practicing, kicking, and the birds were just
Yep.
no. I'm not moving, bro.
So with that being said, who are y'all playing on Pittsburgh's roster?
Kenny
Who y'all
Pitt.
playing?
No, I'm sorry. George Pickens.
George
I'm
Pickens.
playing Pickens.
Absolutely big body receiver. He's definitely getting a lot
Shut
of looks.
the fuck up with that big
You know
body
why?
receiver
Actually,
shit.
no,
my God.
Ray, I got you. You know why that statement stands? Because he's going to be going up against Eli fucking Apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, that's
the
besides
Super
the
Bowl
point.
losing cornerback.
We laid it out after when we talked about our fucking social media impact on fantasy opinions. Big body receiver is a slur now. You are not allowed
It
to
is a
use
slur.
that
A
shit.
slur?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I started the season with Drake
big
London's. Like that's what I called him, and it
The
was in
number
our
of times
show.
I heard that shit,
Yeah.
and then these dudes about dudes that aren't
Pickens.
even playing right now. Pickens is great.
Who
He's
else?
an athlete. He's got me excited actually about.
Yeah,
I
got
wish
a
he was
bright
on a better
future.
team, honestly.
Okay. So
It'll work out in the long
okay,
run.
it-
Give it
it-
time.
Probably.
All right, who else y'all playing? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
playing
that's about it.
Frymouth. It's
Yeah,
good tight end.
you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Farmouth. I have him in
Yeah.
like multiple
Yeah.
leagues.
Smooth
That's
or
definitely-
any other tight end, it's the great
Yeah.
thing about the tight end position is you can always start your team's tight end because they're almost definitely going to play just
Doesn't
as
matter.
good
For
as
sure.
everybody else.
Doesn't matter.
It's flavor of the week
Yeah.
for tight end.
I mean,
Brad, you taking a shot on Deontay this weekend? A lot of folks are saying Deontay is
I
going to have
would.
a game.
I would.
he's flexible.
I would.
It's
I
not
feel
him.
I say he
I would put him-
shines.
I would put him as like a bottom flex. I'm not putting
Yes.
him as wide receiver 1 or 2.
I think
No.
yeah,
But
I think that's where
I would-
Najee lands too.
I think I keep him in a flex the rest of the season
You play him though.
because
Mhm.
Yeah, you
if I
play.
have no third option on wide receivers, I'm going with flex.
Yeah,
With the,
especially
Yeah.
in a two flex league
But
where
you
you have
know-
that luxury.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm doing? I'm starting that defense.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
Suppose.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I'm
I
starting
mean, it's
the
supposed to be gross weather. It's supposed to be gross
you
weather.
asked. Somebody asked if Minka was back. So
That is he,
did
Minka is back.
he
practice
is.
on Thursday.
He is.
He did practice
Nice.
on
Yep.
Thursday.
Yeah, KZ's back.
Yes.
Minka's
Yes,
back.
sir.
Spillane's played great. Devin Bush has come alive this
yeah.
year. And TJ's back. So this gonna be
Alex
tough,
Highsmith
man.
has been killing it as well.
Highsmith
All
has
right.
done a great job.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
No.
On
Don't ruin
the
this.
Cincinnati side, since I have Brian, you and I both have shareholders in this one. I've got Joey
Yes, sir.
B. I'm going to play Joey B. I'm going to continue to play him because he's played at such
fair.
a high level,
Yeah.
and it's really tough to say.
Is
Even
that what this is?
15 points is what
Kitty?
I am aiming for.
Yeah.
Right, 15 points is like, okay, this is probably as well as it'll go in a really tough divisional bad weather game, right?
For sure.
I'll probably take that fine. I don't anticipate 35, 30.
No, I wouldn't.
I
Out of
don't.
who? Sorry, I got
Burrow.
sidetracked with my dogs.
Burrow.
No,
Burrow.
I don't at
No.
all.
I
No.
said 15 to 20
say
is where I'm
yeah.
aiming.
I'd say low 20s, but
I like that. I expect
Yeah.
him definitely maybe 2 touchdowns, 230.
You're definitely
250
playing
yards.
Higgins.
Definitely
You're
a pick, maybe.
You're definitely playing
Yeah, Higgins
Mixon.
for sure. Did did Jamar Chase get rolled out again?
He is not eligible to return
Okay.
today
That's
or
what I thought.
tomorrow.
That's what I thought I
Or
saw.
Sunday.
Okay.
Well, eligible saying that he's been ruled out. He did not practice in any capacity. He's still on crutches. They may
that's not a
probably
good
should have
sign.
done
That's
IR,
not great, Chief.
as it turns out. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it turns out he's not a superhuman. But I'm playing Boyd, and I'm playing Hurst, and I'm playing Hurst as a top 5 tight end dart throw this weekend, and I'm doing that because what happens is this when Chase is out, the other defense can share up, say, all right, 2 corners for Higgins, 2 corners for Boyd, and then safeties and linebackers, you are all going to focus on Mixon. And that leaves an extremely athletic tight end in Hayden Hurst. It's going to be in one-on-ones a lot. And that chemistry has built really well with Joe Burrow. And if you've watched Hayden Hurst make catches, that's not a tight end. He moves very well for a tight end. It's extremely athletic. It's not some big fucking lineman that happens to run. It's a dude that has like just the frame and the reach and the grab and the stretch that's like not common with tight ends.
And that'll be a big mismatch. I think
It
Devin
is.
Bush is good on that. The blitz side, but coverage side, they're working.
It's going to be
on that,
tough.
But Hayden
Yeah,
Hurst is
that's
probably
fair.
going to.
It's kind of like when you have
run through DB.
it's kind of like when you have Tremaine on like high
Any
speed
tight
tight
end,
ends.
yeah.
It's just like
It's
not
just
any
not
tight end. Tremaine can
I mean to
catch some
say
people.
ones that
Yeah.
are receiving. I would
Yeah,
put
Yeah.
that.
like obviously Kelsey's gonna moss it, but
Yeah.
like when you see Tremaine Edmonds and you're like, why are you
Yeah.
going after Cameron Brate? I don't think you can keep up with that dude.
No.
Uh,
So, but yeah, I mean that largely covers. I mean, we have a lot of shareholders in both sides of the football for this
Yeah.
game.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
be the game to see at 4:00 tomorrow or Sunday. It's going to be. I'm really
Pretty sure it was
excited.
supposed to be a Sunday night game, but
It was supposed to, but
apparently
there
it
was
was not
some,
exciting enough.
there
you
was
were
some
bitching about it getting
fuckery.
bumped.
There was some
I
fuckery
was
between the
upset about
Chiefs
it.
and the Chargers game, and then the Mexico City game got fucked up, and so that they had a schedule conflict they had to work out this weekend. I'll talk about that later. Okay, Other news. So Chicago goes to Atlanta in a dome. Obviously,
Chicago?
you're playing Fields.
Yeah,
and now
I think
you're
that's
definitely
fair.
playing Monty because there's no competition. So because Herbert's
Sure.
gone, you're playing Monty based on volume alone, and you're playing him against a terrible defense that has no big-time playmakers that I'm scared of. Jarrett Grady. What's his name?
Sure, that's a name I definitely
Jarrett.
know.
That's the one that got in trouble when he sacked Tom Brady, and they called roughing the passer, but it was a normal fucking sack.
It was just
Just a
normal.
normal sack.
Was that against Atlanta?
That was the first tee off
was
of
Chiefs.
what was that call? Yeah, that was that one.
That was like
Grady Jarrett,
Interesting.
that's his name. Fuck. Yeah.
was
I'm not playing Claypool. I'm not playing Mooney. I'll play Komet as much as any other dart throw.
I don't know. I think Claypool and Mooney are flexible here.
Really?
I just expect Fields to
Mooney's flexible. I'll play.
just to
I'll
play.
flex
I
Mooney.
mean, as far as I'm concerned, they've been flexible the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Mooney's
if
played
you're-
all right.
Out of your flex, if you're looking for a 15-plus receiver, those aren't your guys.
No.
But if you
10,
have
10
them,
to 10 to 12.
I'm gonna
it's possible.
warn y'all. I'm gonna warn y'all with this Claypool play.
Yeah.
He got 6 targets in the first game.
He did.
He got 1 target and 1 reception against Detroit, where they scored 30 points.
that's
Get
true.
that.
If he's
fair,
not
too.
in that
He-
offense on a domination game like that, where you're just scoring points, he's not going to be a part of that offense.
He's not a part of it yet.
Sure.
No.
But why? There's no reason. He's clearly
Because he's brand
I
new.
think it's
That's
I think
all.
he's,
Adam,
I think
he's
it's
brand
more
new.
of a brand new. Yeah.
Kadarius
I-
Toney fucking immediately melted into the Kansas City offense.
Please don't get us started this early on how much better Mahomes is than Allen. Okay, please don't.
Oh, yeah,
Allen.
leave that
I'm
conversation.
talking about Fields. I don't. All I'm saying is that if Chicago is actually trying to do something with their season this year, he's going to have to start throwing
Yes.
even more.
I agree.
Claypool is going to be
Um,
one of those targets, and as well Mooney.
I would say Mooney is already on the same page, and that's why with the Claypool thing, he has a lot of great things that I'm really looking forward to in the future.
Mhm.
But like,
Not now.
do you know? Look how like it's so chaotic when Fields is doing his scramble stuff that like
Yeah.
Mooney has watched it for 2 years now. He's a little more in tune with it, whereas Claypool's like, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Yeah.
Sure,
'cause-
sure.
What's
well,
he
We
doing?
didn't have
Oh, he
no
scored. Oh.
quarterbacks in
No,
Pittsburgh.
we had
Yeah,
Big Ben.
still don't.
We had Big Ben that looked like a fucking tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's also
Ben was
that's
mobile,
a
but-
good point.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
point, especially with his involvement, because he's not going to be used to moving into routes to block.
Just give
for a
it time.
scrambler.
he's also a really
so-
good
okay,
blocker.
So I'll throw I'll throw this caveat onto that. If you're in a
Okay.
league where you're playing somebody who doesn't have a deep threat in their flex, I think they're flexible. If they've got Amon-Ra St. Brown in their flex because they just went RB0 and all they have is wide receivers, yeah, maybe find somebody else.
Yeah.
But in normal leagues where your flex is typically a lower end player,
Yeah, usually a receiver 3.
I think those
That's
dudes are
usually the
flexible.
mark. I put it. Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any Atlanta players that they're taking? Cordero?
That'd be my next statement. Is Cordell Patterson a factor here?
yeah.
of
Listen, man,
course.
it's tough
Don't
coming
be
back from
silly.
injury.
Don't be silly.
shitty.
He's their best
I know you're
player.
not, but he's their best player.
That's
I
fair.
think people are unhappy with how timeshare it was.
Mhm.
But like the
I think they were
reality
trying
is,
to. They were curious. I think they were curious
They were
to see how it looked, and
Yeah.
they found out real quick it didn't work out well.
cold, rainy night. Bones act up in that weather, Brian. So I think it's just
You're
one of
right.
those where like they
I
didn't
feel-
need him. They got boloed. They
Mhm.
got boloed
They
by
definitely
Carolina.
needed
So
him,
they
but
didn't.
they were-
well, what I'm saying
were-
is it wasn't
Like I
effective
said,
with what he
they
was
were
doing.
trying to do. They were trying to do some things that
That
I
they're not-
think they were trying out. They were like testing the waters, and it just
Yeah.
was not working out. And it was
Algier,
too late to
yeah.
kind of adjust.
Algier ate more into it than I thought he would, but that's just probably coming back from injury. Give him some time to condition. He'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Don't start Kyle Pitts.
No.
Don't drop him either, though.
Yeah.
So
No,
I was
don't
I was
drop
thinking
him yet.
about this today. If you drop him, he will go off against you. So hold on to him, and that
It's-
way you can guarantee he will never
and
score. on you.
well, when you drop him and when you bench him,
Yeah,
That's when
well,
he goes off.
that's fine. Bench him and then make him watch the rest of your roster. But if you drop
That's
him,
right.
someone else is going to pick him up and he will go off.
this is a primetime window for Drake London, and that's because
Right.
Chicago's secondary is not super strong. The reality is when they got rid of Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn, the pass rush that made quarterbacks speed up that throw to throw those interceptions isn't there anymore. And so what's going to happen is Mario is going to have time to extend these plays and survey the field and find London doing whatever dumb shit back there. And that's usually how Drake London has thrived, is sneaking behind coverage and doing whatever, right? And so it's been working out that way. So I like Drake London in the spot.
That's fair.
Flexible.
Okay.
Not receiver 1 or 2. Flex.
Yeah.
All right. And then next one up is Cleveland goes to Buffalo, but it's not.
boy.
It's to Detroit.
Yeah, in Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah.
Detroit.
And then actually Buffalo plays Detroit. So they're staying in Detroit for the next week and a half. So interesting little tidbit.
Did y'all see how much snow they be getting? Holy shit.
They were at 5
Ray,
feet before the show.
That was crazy.
They barely got out of town. They could barely
so
get
they
out of
did
town.
leave because I saw that was
They
an
had to.
issue.
Yes.
Well,
They were stuck behind the
That's
weather.
what I
They
heard-
couldn't get out of town.
I heard they were like, I don't know if we can make it out of
Yeah.
this damn city.
They'll try
Ray,
it out.
do you want to take the point on who you're playing for Buffalo?
Sure.
And then give me a running back that you'd play.
Tyler Bass.
Okay.
That was quick.
So if it was going to be in Buffalo, okay. So at first, when the storm was announced, and they were like, "All right, y'all about to get smacked," it was like, "Oh, maybe there'll be a couple centimeters on the field on Sunday," and then it turned into no. Lake Erie is dumping half of its contents onto New England.
You're
right?
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Fun fact. Not really a fun fact. I'm sure everybody fucking knew this, but all 3 teams are going to be in that stadium, right? Because
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so it's
that's
the
right.
Lake Erie Bros Stadium right now because of all
Erie
the
Bros
teams that are in there. Let's see. Let's skip over the obvious starts because we don't need to talk about that. Flexible in this game. They're playing Cleveland. I don't know anyone on the Browns. The Browns did really good against Cincinnati, but that's like a rivalry thing.
That's without
Right,
Jamar
in
Chase, too.
the-
That's a
the
different
secondary.
defensive plan.
Right. So I still think Gabe Davis is playable here.
He's playable. Flex.
I can buy that.
I think he's flexible. I don't think you should ever have Gabe Davis in your WR1, WR2 unless you're in a 12-man league. If you're in a 12-man league, I could see you having
12 and above, yeah.
12. Well, because in a 12-man league, he's actually a pretty good WR1 and
Yeah.
WR2 because you're looking
I
at
would
real
agree.
thin scraps. But under that, flex at best. I still think the only running back you should start in a flex or if you have to in an RB1 or 2 position is Singletary. I don't think Hines is ready.
That's fair.
Even with punting return yards on, it's not worth it. I just haven't seen it in the last 2 games that he's been in.
No.
Doesn't seem like they're using him too much. Also, last game they elevated Duke Johnson and he was taking returns. So
He actually had 100-plus yards of total yardage on the game.
we should have never fucking signed Hines. We
Yeah.
had Duke Johnson the whole time. All
He
the
had like
shit that
20-something points.
everything that they said we needed fucking Hines for, Duke Johnson can do, and he does it better,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So, Duke Johnson, I
Hey,
think,
man.
got downgraded back to practice squad. I'm not positive
He
about
did.
that. I just know that he's getting projected at
He did.
0 fucking points, so he's clearly not
Yeah.
playing.
Goose
So,
egg.
Davis is flexible. Singletary is flexible. If you are in a really deep league, James Cook is flexible, but don't expect more than 8 to 10 points out of him.
Okay.
That's right. And
Look
start
at
their
Knox here.
defense. I
Playing
think their
Knox.
defense is still good. Like I said, tight end is flavor of the week.
Fair enough.
If you don't have a really good tight end already, like I have Cole Kmet, I'm probably going to start Cole Kmet over Dawson Knox, right? But
Fair
if I didn't have him and I had fucking what's his cunt at a Conklin, I'd probably start
Yeah.
Knox over Conklin, especially if Allen actually adapts from the mistakes he's had the last 2 weeks and starts to do more checkdowns. Knox is going to get a lot more volume there.
I'll be real here. I feel like the ferocity of Buffalo is probably going to crush this Cleveland offense. I don't like any Brown player. I don't even
Really?
like Nick Chubb here. I
What
don't.
about no joke?
Oh, okay. Settle down.
Nope.
Buffalo
No.
Buffalo gives up the rush because they want
Here's why.
they want to make sure you're not throwing.
Here's
They will
why.
give up yards to Chubb.
The only threat that, first of all, Njoku's not 100% healthy. So even if he does
Right.
play, I'm not trusting
Okay,
his
I
health.
haven't checked on
Second,
him yet. I just know
He's been
good.
in and out of practice all week.
I think that his
Second.
injury is worse than it.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second,
Okay.
Amari Cooper is the only person with a name out there. That's it.
That's fair.
Donovan People
That's
Jones
it.
also has a name. He's got a long one.
he
that
has
I
a name.
fuck
You know
up
what I'm saying,
sometimes.
though. My issue is they will be able to load the box here because I will play Buffalo secondary against just Amari Cooper because I can
Sure.
put 3 of them on him.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Well,
right? And so-
Taron Johnson can stay on him, or
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
even
do a little bit
Kyer
of
might be able
numbers on
to.
top, whoever, right? Is
Yeah.
Tre'Davious playing? Do you know, Ray?
I'm gonna assume no. I
gonna
haven't
assume
heard any
no.
news.
God,
But,
they
I mean,
need
I've
him back.
literally had Coach McDermott say outright he is playing, and then he didn't
And then didn't play.
start at all.
So Tre'Davious White's
I'm
story
saying
missed him before.
no.
If he was
See him in
in,
the playoffs.
Cleveland will be fucked. But
Yeah. Well, if any of our,
Um,
I would say if any of our star secondary,
Rousseau's back. Rousseau's back. That's a
Yeah, but
big
he's
one.
not a secondary, right? He's pass
No.
rush, which is a
Sure.
big deal. But our
He
secondary
can run down Brissett if he needs to.
for sure. So the thing with Kyer, right? Because I've bitched about him all year, pretty much, is I think that he's good enough to read Brissett. As much I've shown a lot of love for Brissett in our league, in our chat, and on this show.
Yeah, he was asked to fill an
He's
impossible
decent.
job.
Yeah,
here.
he's
I
pretty
think
decent. He
he's
fills the
playing
shoe.
perfectly fine.
For what you paid him.
I love a lot of what I've seen of him this year. I just think that he's a lot easier to read than some other quarterbacks.
Yes.
So, that's my 2 cents
anything,
on
Brad,
offense.
on Cleveland side of the ball that you're excited about? No, right?
No, it's such a hit or miss with this team, especially.
I don't think Chubb's a hit or miss. I think he's a hit every week.
I know that. I'm being over the top of it, but like
Mm.
Chubb will get you his points that he's supposed to get. But I would not
20.
expect 30 points.
I would say 20.
But you know
Probably
this
fine.
Buffalo team just coming off those losses that they.
It's going to be pissed.
They're going.
It's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
to play,
They're
and they're going to look to stomp them like.
I agree.
Pittsburgh.
I think they had their little pee-pee snack, and I think they're ready to go
Yep.
back at it.
they want to get back to.
I said the same thing.
35-3.
Listen, I'll tell you, I've called several games that like no one agreed with. I knew Tampa would beat LA for the Rams, and I knew Tampa would beat Seattle because they've had their PP smack too much, and now they're starting to flex, and now they're starting to do the right things.
It goes into that too.
Well,
I-
I'm not
buy
going to
it.
get into the stupid
Hey, he's like what 2-0 when he's divorced. I think it's
Yeah.
the wife
3-0, baby. Let's go.
I don't
or
know.
Another
3.
one.
Yeah,
No, it's but
Gino made
I don't
4
know. I'm
decisions
not-
in that game. I don't know.
I would say
About that.
that defense showed who Gino is, and that is like he's the Jimmy G. He is Jimmy G of Seattle. He is
Sure.
not going to win you. Super
Okay,
Bowl,
well, we're
but he
still going to
will play
see
well.
San Francisco and Jimmy G and
Still.
Geno Smith in the NFC Championship, so it doesn't even
Well,
matter.
that's possible. That's possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
Next
that.
up, this next one is actually a sneaky game, and I know that I say this all the time, but it is a sneaky game because it's a must-win for Indy. So Philly goes to Indy. Indy
Buddy.
is going
Buddy.
to be playing their hearts out here.
Oh,
Buddy, I'm not concerned.
Oh.
I'm not. I'll tell you why. Goddard's
you're not
gone.
concerned.
Nope, Goddard's gone.
That's true.
So
Okay.
that safety release valve for
That check
Jalen.
down is
Jalen's an
gone.
amazing athlete.
Athlete, yeah.
Miles
He'll figure
Sanders
it
has
out.
disappeared.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what it was.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
thanks, Miles Sanders last week. I appreciate that one.
Also, AJ Brown is not 100% healthy. I saw it last week when he had 1.7 points, as I was. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm
Was
an
Chase
idiot.
Young in last week?
No, Chase Young was not in. Chase Young returns this weekend,
Damn.
which is why I'm playing the Commanders defense.
I'd probably start.
Yeah, let's
Oh.
go.
Okay, so my
Chase
question,
Young.
this is my thing with AJ.
I can buy
okay,
that.
so you don't think it was the matchup with AJ? You think it was
No,
they're trying to
it was
lean
injury.
away from
I'm
him
positive.
because of his injury?
Split.
If that's
That
true, that's
split
rough.
Was the play.
That's going to
that slip
make
was-
them suffer a lot because
Yeah.
as good as Devonta Smith is, it's like you can't
very
only
good.
have one receiver
No.
moving routes.
Both of those dudes, Devontae and AJ, logged only limited practice all week. None of them had a full practice. But Devontae, that's definitely just because he did a lot of work last weekend.
A lot of work, yeah.
AJ
There's a lot of vet
did
rest
nothing.
that is viewed as, yeah.
You know?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're
So, and you know what it is, right? You and I have seen this recipe in Tennessee. We've seen it,
Yeah.
right? We're like AJ. If AJ's dinged up, I've seen him go for nothing, right? I've seen it, and it's so.
He's in, but he's not playing
Yeah.
because they're
No.
steering away from him.
And the only thing palpable in Indianapolis is that defense, who has played very good football all
Sure.
year long. Now they've had a terrible offense; it's been god awful. Let's not focus on that part too much. But the reality is, like, they're going to follow the same recipe Washington did: keep
They're gonna
Jalen Hurts
try,
off the
yeah.
field as much as possible with JT.
Well-
4 yards
Okay.
to carry. That's it.
So, with
And
that, then,
the Eagles are down another interior lineman on the defense.
that's
So
bad.
they're down there, all-star rookie and another defensive
That's
lineman.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Well-
kind of like JT in that matchup then.
Mhm.
Ugh, I don't
I
like
like-
JT
Well,
ever.
Philly's run defense has been
Gross.
terrible, so that's actually something we haven't talked about. But
Disgusting.
what are you
Yeah,
saying?
no,
I
they,
like that,
they, they themselves talked about that, I think.
yes,
Saying
You
like
can run
having Brian Robinson just fucking
sledgehammer away.
Pound town. Yeah,
Mhm.
it really
26
really-
carries.
it made it a
Yes.
lot easier for them to keep Hurts off the field because their run
Mm-hmm.
defense was not shutting them down. They kept getting first downs. So my question with Sanders is, can he catch? Is he going to
Yes.
start taking up that
Yeah.
those checkdowns?
No,
Are
because
you
they
about
throw
to
to
see-
Gainwell and they throw to Boston Scott.
Yeah. All right. Well, fuck Boston Scott.
Yeah, I know. The dude's
oh
been
well.
a thorn in the heel the whole time.
That sucks. Oh well.
So
Sorry.
Oh,
Phil.
wow.
on Philly's side, right? You're playing your You're still playing AJ. You're still playing.
I don't think
Devontae.
I don't think there's any flex.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any hot takes on that team.
No.
Honestly, I think everyone's falling where they're going to fall
And then on Indy's
without
side,
an injury.
you're playing JT, and you're hoping for 15. I think until
I think
you
he'll
can
get
see a little consistent more
Yeah.
stuff.
Whatever.
And I'm playing
15, 20.
based on volume.
What
that's
about
my-
Campbell?
I've played Campbell.
Supposedly, Campbell and Matt Ryan have been developing.
Matt Ryan
across
is the
season.
starter. Yeah, Matt Ryan's the starter. We're not having that stupid fucking retard conversation again. That was ridiculous. Dude, I'm not going to get into it, but Indy's going to have a full ethics.
No, you sure don't want to.
It's going to be a whole thing. But yeah, so I'll play Campbell. Campbell has played well. When he has the ball in his hands, he is electric. He is hard to tackle.
What receivers won't you start
like him
over Campbell?
Flex.
Who I won't start?
Yeah. So or vice versa. Like, who are you not willing to start Campbell over, or whichever list is
I'm not
small.
willing to start him over. Or is it just the Colts in this question?
In the NFL. We're talking about.
I
You're
put
gonna flex
Campbell-
Campbell. He's not a WR 1 or 2.
I put
So
Campbell in
who
the
would-
Drake London conversation. I
Okay.
would start him over Drake London. I would start him over probably of the Lockett Metcalf section. I'd probably start him over Lockett.
That's crazy.
There's
There's a lot of people you're passing over if you're saying you're going to pass him over Lockett.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Lot.
That's both Denver receivers.
Probably
even Mike Evans in that
I would not
conversation.
even. I would. Well, I like Sutton, which is why it pains me to say this. There's no way you can convince me to play a Denver receiver over Paris Campbell right now. There's no way.
Yeah.
I
You
can
know what
buy
I mean?
into
Like,
that.
I'm sorry. Like, you could convince Dolchich. I'll play Dolchich over.
Ugh, fuck.
I'll flex a tight end over Paris Campbell.
Disgusting. I can't believe you just said
But
that.
that was a bit much. My point being that there are a lot
There's
of
a
receivers
number
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't go into the Seattle realm of that stuff. Here's one. I would not start him over Rondale Moore. That's where I draw the line.
You have such a
That's the
weird
talent level.
perspective on receivers. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily agree with you because you and I like Rondale a lot.
We
But
do. But yeah,
interesting.
that's how I would say. Next one is potentially worth a fuck. I don't know. The Jets go to the Patriots. Outdoors, cold as shit, snowy, windy.
Can both teams lose in that situation? How does a tie
I don't
work
think so.
in that situation?
I bet
It's
you New
technically a
England
win
beats
for
the breaks
both, I
off of
think.
New York here.
Is a tie
And
a
I
win
bet
for
you
both or a
Ramondre
loss
goes
for
for
both?
40.
I'm pretty sure it's a win.
Easy.
Well, until the
40.
Bills play the Pats, it won't matter. That tie is irrelevant, right?
Fair enough.
So
Well, no,
until
because
you-
the Pats are at the bottom. So what I'm saying, so
Oh, yeah, it's
I
true.
guess I'm rooting for fucking New England.
Well,
Doesn't that feel
New
like
England-
a Cardinals
Yeah.
fan?
New England won 22-17. So
Last week. Or last time they
week
played.
or the
yeah.
last time they played.
I'm sorry. Last time they
Well,
played.
now they're at home. Yeah, I like New England a lot more than this.
I can't believe New
Especially the
England.
weather.
We did a divisional episode. No, I don't think any of us called New England getting pushed to the bottom by the rest of the division.
Not only that,
I think
no,
but
no,
I said
recall-
maybe Miami beats them, but I don't think any of us said the Jets.
I think
are pushing them.
it was like
Uh,
Miami kind of
to be fair,
between them two.
the Jets finished that game with like a last 30-second touchdown and made it look like a closer game, but the
Sure.
Jets got their nuts kicked in all game. And it was like 4 picks, and it was something crazy like that.
A lot of picks. Yeah, only success on the ground. That's exactly what I told Brock when he was asking us about Wilson. I was like, I would probably flex.
Brad,
Carter
give me
over
one
Wilson.
Jet you're willing to play.
Carter.
Carter. Michael
Exactly.
Carter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'll
that's
play.
fair.
Yeah.
With
James
Brees
Robinson's
Hall
coming
not
along
there.
nicely.
And I'll say this.
Yeah.
Besides,
Takes time.
you're only playing their running backs.
That's it.
Yeah.
You
Zach Wilson
No
sucks.
receivers or
He's a
quarterbacks.
bad quarterback. And the only reason Wilson has any fantasy relevance is because the other Wilson throws to him.
We'll throw it
constantly.
18 times.
Elijah Moore in a post game conference, they're like, how do you feel about your relationship with Zach Wilson? He's like, I don't fucking know. He doesn't throw me the ball.
Yeah.
I have no
idea who that guy
we
is.
have no chemistry. I don't know what you're asking. What chemistry could you possibly be talking about? It's not good or
that
bad.
would be
It's
one
not
of the
there.
that would be one of the season's anomalies that I'll never understand. Elijah Moore is an incredible receiver.
Sure.
Okay, fair enough. Running backs.
Mostly
here?
Carter.
We're done here, right?
I still think Robinson is a lesser flex. I just don't think he's as involved with that offense.
Yeah, I mean,
Carter's their guy,
in a deep
and
league.
he would have
Yeah.
been without Brees Hall. Just Brees Hall was playing really well,
Yeah, agreed.
and Carter
I
was
think they
still
both would have
flexible
played
when he
well.
was there. So
I think they had a good Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris combo before the injury for Harris, where Carter and Hall they could both play. You could play them both. They both would do fine.
Yeah, you could start Breece Hall, but you could flex Carter. Now Carter.
Any concerns whatsoever of Damian Harris right now?
No, not particularly. I mean, everything I've heard out of that backfield,
it's pretty decided. It seems
Stevenson is so good. I mean, there was
very talented.
Was it last season or the season before when you started him in that winter game and they just wouldn't fucking run the ball with him?
Last year. Yeah,
so
I lost out on the playoff game.
We had seen his talent. It's kind of my thing with Duke Johnson down in Miami last year. It's like he just showed you he balls out.
Yeah.
And so why is he not starting more? Well, when Harris went out, I mean, Stevenson has just been phenomenal since.
Yeah.
So
no concerns.
I just don't think that they need to do that. He's going to come in to rest Stevenson. I don't think they're going to split the backfield as much.
Like red zone isn't a concern?
I don't really know. I mean, Stevenson scores without red zone. I mean,
sure.
I've had him give me 20 points without a touchdown.
Yeah.
The thing with Harris is I just don't know how much he's recovered from his injury.
I don't either. Yeah. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks, so we'll see what's up. Okay.
Yep.
Next one's pretty gross, but we'll get through it. Rams go to the Saints. Okay, I'll start on New Orleans side. Kamara.
That's fair.
Olave. Jameis Winston had a statement yesterday. He said, it hurts my soul not to be playing football, and I wish Andy the best. And that straight up was like, I have no idea why I'm not playing fucking football right now, dude.
Yeah, I said, it's the Michael Thomas. He's like, I don't understand what I'm doing here.
I have no idea, dude. But good luck, Andy, which was probably the classiest thing he could have said other than, like, what in the fuck are we doing?
Well, because it's easy to say that because Andy's choking right now. He had that game against Arizona. He's playing like dog shit right now.
Look, dude, I'm telling you, firsthand being in the stadium, he looked bad.
Yeah.
But
that's right. Yeah, you were fucking there.
but then again, I don't remember a time where Andy played well against Pittsburgh.
Years ago.
Against Pittsburgh? I can find
no.
And I mean, we ran through Cincy for the last 14 years.
I'm pretty sure the Bengals are like 3-17 within the last however many years,
18 years or whatever.
Against the Steelers. So
Jesus Christ,
which was most of Andy Dalton.
Brad, it's funny you bring it up. I saw you pick up Jawan Johnson. Is that just out of hope?
Who the fuck is Jawan Johnson? There?
I think
that's the actual tight end for the Saints.
Oh, I think out of the last 3 games, Jawan has gotten.
Oh no! Yeah, I think that's not a bad call. I don't know where that's coming from, but I did see that, Brad, and I don't think it's a crazy call for a tight end play.
And I have a very suitable tight end.
Yeah.
With Zach Ertz, and we'll talk about that later. With Ertz out, I have to find somebody who just in case. You know what I mean?
That Schultz wasn't healthy yet.
Like I said, I'll bring this back. Looking at the game, it's like, there's something there that Andy
it wasn't a fluke. I'm with you, Brad, because I saw the same thing. It didn't seem like it was a fluke. It didn't seem like when Jimmy Graham had his one game a year that was really good. It didn't seem like that. It was that was a fluke. It looked a little bit more authentic with that guy. Yeah.
Jawan has proven that with Thomas out, with Landry on the sideline, doing whatever he's doing.
He's back to sweet can, but that doesn't matter much.
We'll see.
But he got the second amount of targets to who.
Okay.
Olave. It's always Olave.
I think if those Packers get shut down the way that they kind of do over there, whether it's Dalton's fault or the wide receiver's fault or the defense is just that damn good.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to look at.
Jawan.
I think Jawan.
Yeah. Taysom Hill and Jawan Johnson.
A big thing about
Taysom doesn't play enough.
I don't think they're going to play Taysom inside end anymore.
I don't think so anymore.
It's a mess, man.
They don't seem to be wanting to put him in the roles to
He's
win
also an incredibly expensive asset.
4 times.
People don't realize how large his salary is.
He's literally the most valuable player in the NFL. Yeah. You have no clue what he's doing ever at any point.
And it's crazy because he had that one big game.
40 points.
Yeah, he had a 34-point game out of nowhere.
He's not even used.
No.
Yeah. Nope. Don't worry. I got bit by that once.
Well, I tried to warn you. I dropped him at 30 points for a reason. It was a joke. It wasn't meant to carry on through. I had so many people in different leagues. Hey, Jim, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think he froze. God damn it. All right, we'll just keep going. Hopefully he'll come back.
He
Dimbo.
moved.
All right, we'll carry on. So,
But yeah, Johnson's
I
stats looks pretty good, honestly. I like that.
yeah. So
I
bad
never thought to look
quarterbacks-
into him, but I like that.
Okay.
Well,
I
it's
don't know
kind
what
of
that's
the
about.
thing with tight ends is they kind of disappear. You're on the screen twice. I don't know if he is
How
for
are you?
anyone else
What
there. That's
the
funny.
hell are you?
Oh well.
You're like,
It'll
oh,
buff.
there
All right,
it
it's
is.
fine.
It buffed.
So,
there you go.
bad quarterbacks and then quarterbacks that are struggling check down a lot, right? So Andy Dalton is what I would consider a bad quarterback, right?
Oh yeah.
I would consider Brissett a bad quarterback in the sense of like the whole league, but he's a quarterback that plays a lot tougher defenses than what his offense can really handle, and that's where those checkdowns come from. So that's why I think that's a smart grab on your part, because it's like Andy's going to need to dump off to somebody, and for whatever fucking reason, he doesn't want to do it to Kamara. They haven't been calling it like that. It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Usually it is the running back if the tight end is blocking, but I digress. Saints are going to Saint.
Kamara went 6 or 7 weeks without any touchdowns.
Yeah, with any.
That's
Still
a red
produced
flag.
fantasy-wise, but still.
Yeah, it's bad. It is a red flag. What it was is they were disrespecting him and letting him drive upfield and then not giving him red zone touches.
Yeah, they'll do like
Yeah.
a slant.
It's rude. It's rude as hell.
No, do the Taysom Hill Wildcat every
Yeah.
time.
Oh, dude.
He's running to the
I'm
right.
about to start the petition to have Wildcat banned from the fucking NFL.
Please.
Some people are using
Derrick
it too
Henry
damn
got
much.
fucking smacked on
Now,
that.
Yeah,
play.
should-
I can't even say of a time in my 26-year life I've seen Pittsburgh run Wildcat. Now all of a sudden,
And it worked.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah,
bad
I don't
teams
know-
run
I don't know
Wildcat. We talked about this in an older episode. The reason
Yeah,
it
we
was
did.
created was Miami. Miami created it because they had a bad roster and they had to figure some shit out. And Wildcat worked. And then every other shit team was like, "We're gonna do the same fucking thing."
Yeah.
Yeah, our offense.
It's great when it works, but it only works like
No,
fucking
it's-
5% of the time.
It's like a screen. It's ugly as shit, and it
Yeah,
rarely
it is.
works. But every time it works, you're never gonna hear the end of how good of a fucking play call it is.
Play that was, yep.
So
It's
on the
just-
LA side of the ball, I think really all on play. Actually, okay,
Who do you
you
play?
got to do
No
your
one,
fans
right?
of justice. You got to do your fans of justice here.
Fib.
You'll play Higbee. You
No,
won't play any of the running backs.
No.
You will, because
Okay.
Higbee will continue to get 15 targets
I
a fucking
hate
game.
Higbee.
Yeah, but what?
Yeah, but then he'll drop 9
Did
of
he
them.
have a goose egg game?
And if he catches 8 of them, you got to take
He
it.
literally dropped all of his targets one game.
Yeah, he's not.
That's
His hands
unbelievable
are
how bad he
questionable.
is.
Stick- I'll pull this
I
up,
will
don't
say
worry.
this. This is now. If Allen Robinson can't make it happen now, it will not happen ever.
Sure.
And this is as big a time as it could ever be for him. And I truly hope he balls out. I would love to see it. I loved him in Chicago. He did well with dog shit quarterbacks for years. He
Yeah.
deserves a chance to play with a quarterback that throws the ball well. Matthew Stafford has not thrown the ball well consistently to him, but that's because they're still on the same page. It takes
Yeah,
time.
holy shit.
It
gets-
is
he gets lots of
now at
targets.
that
I'm
point of the
looking at
season
it.
where you are out of that excuse. You can no longer say it needs time. It's week 11.
Well,
if it's not going to
here's
work,
the
it's not going to
problem.
work.
Cup going out. Cup is his safety blanket, right? But
The
with
Cup is his only offensive player.
With Cup coming out, there is a player who plays like Cup and plays in that slot.
Oh, you talking about Swansky?
Skwarnik. Yeah.
Skwarnik. Yeah, that's a flex. Someone's got to catch a football.
I'm not saying he's even flexible. I'm saying he's going to take targets from Van Jefferson and Allen Robinson. That's what I'm
Van
saying.
Jefferson's still not 100% healthy. I'm not playing Van.
I just think that that
was a
offense
long
is about to
injury.
be unstartable in its entirety, even with Henderson
Already
having
was.
a majority backfield.
It already
Cup
was, dog.
Cup was startable.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, because he was so many targets.
I'm not going to dive deep into a bunch of dart throws and wannabes. We don't know.
If you're
We'll
in
have to
a
see how it
deep
goes.
league, I think that you can throw a dart on pretty much.
The Rams
Allen
have
Robinson
a
and
5%
Henderson, that's
chance of making the playoffs. If they lose the next two, they have a 0% chance of making the playoffs. So, I mean, you're going to find out real quick if they give a fuck or they don't.
Unbelievable how bad
yep.
the NFC is this year.
Okay. Detroit goes to New York, and it's going to be cold, but the weather should be fine.
Which New York? You say
Is
New
that
York.
Giants?
You mean New Jersey.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
the Giants,
Newark,
right.
New Jersey.
No, we already talked about the Jets and Pats. I should have known that it was the Giants.
Yeah.
Taking the Giants,
Um,
baby. Let's go, Danny.
I'm taking the Giants. I'm taking the Giants pretty handedly.
No.
I'm going with
Detroit.
actually,
Ugh,
Brad,
gross.
I'm
I
going
saw
Detroit.
another thing you snuck by. It wasn't snuck by. I've been watching the whole time.
Okay.
Big play Slay made his way into your lineup
You
this weekend.
cunt. You would.
Tell me about it.
Did again, it's consistency.
Yeah.
3 games
That's fair.
over 10, over 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? consistent, playable for a flex.
Very. Yeah.
And so
he's got that 3-week
fuck
rule.
it, we ball. That's their philosophy over there, and it's worked out every week for them.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to play him this week, but thinking about it, it's like if Saquon didn't, well, Saquon probably had a good game, and I don't know his stats against Houston, but if
He's winding down
a good game against Houston, knowing that Saquon could have ran for 300 yards,
400 yards, yeah.
He'll have another good game against Detroit.
Yeah. The
way that teams have treated
Go ahead,
their
Jim,
time against. I think the way that teams have treated their time against Houston is a tune-up. They try to implement the plays that they want to use, not like obviously I know I can fucking run it. I know that.
Tennessee didn't. The
Colts tied with them to open the year, so that's
right. Well, Derrick Henry, they let Derrick Henry take out his aggression on Houston. They always do every year. He always does.
And that's the Titans though.
They were doing.
Yeah. Everybody knew it was going to come, right? But my point being, like, it was projected that Saquon was going to have 28 fucking points on a projection, right? He ended up with like 25. He had a good game, perfectly fine. But you're right. Like in a game where and this is actually, we'll get to it. This is why I don't like Robinson Jr. against the Texans, because I don't think they're going to run it 45 times because they have to tune it up. They have to.
No, but he's a rookie. I think this is a good game for him because
he's going to play. He's going to run a lot. He's going to get 20
carries. I disagree
carries.
with you with that because I don't view Robinson as like. I would say Dameon Pierce, but he obviously plays for Houston. I'd say okay, so Kenneth Walker, right? He's very clearly the starter there, right? They don't really need to test him out against Houston, right? So he's going to play a regress role. I think they're going to do some different things in their offense. However, if you're trying to get your rookie running back yard time, snap time, what better team to do it against than Houston?
It's the best team to do it. No, you're right. And I still am really trying to. I might flex him over Boyd. I might. It's a thought.
Oh, that's crazy.
Just because the passing game is playing, T.J. Watt makes it that big a difference, dude.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I'm not even being dramatic. Like T.J. Watt could sack Burrow 5 times for all I know.
Oh, he probably will. I have very little confidence that
the Steelers must win. You're going to see him.
I'm looking forward to it.
You're going to see a lot of crazy shit. Right?
Even if it's not a must win, TJ Watt just is a fucking beast. He's on track to be the number one.
So that's my concern with that game.
Absolutely.
Right? So if Burrow's getting sacked, there's no way Boyd's getting the ball. Right?
Yep.
So
it's going to be like Cleveland all every game.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Joe Mixon show, which very well could be either way, even if he is successful.
Easy. I don't want that.
So on Detroit side, anyone?
Probably you can flex both their running backs at this point.
I don't think Swift is playing. I think he actually got knocked to doubtful.
Even if Jamal is the only one starting, I still would only flex him. I don't think he's RB1. We talked about this. His volume.
Well, it's not because he doesn't. It's not because he doesn't. He's not better than Williams. It's just the injuries. It's the injuries.
No, I know.
Swift is an amazing
talent.
If
he doesn't play, that means all snaps are going to.
Yes.
Even when the whole season when DeAndre Swift has been out, they haven't really used J.C. Jackson or Justin Jackson.
Justin Jackson
is weird to me because I know Justin Jackson's a really good running back.
Yeah, he's super young. He's got time.
All I'm saying is Jamal doesn't really share snaps when DeAndre Swift is out. Right? Yeah. They either 50-50 or it's all Jamal. So I still think he's only flexible. You can't rely on his touchdowns. I actually am
not playing St. Brown, and I'm not playing St. Brown because the Giants secondaries play good football.
Yep.
And it's tough.
Number 6 on the season against receivers.
There's no other receiver
I don't know any of their defensive backs, but they have smacked.
They're just standard B- players across the board.
Yeah, they're just playing special. The way they're supposed to.
That's what you need
to do.
The difference
this year is that Mike Martindale, Mike Martindale, who was the deco for the Ravens for the past 10 fucking years. Brian Daboll called him and said, "Hey, dog, I need you." And he went over to New York, and they've done great. And they were fine the past 5 years. They've played good football for a while on the defense side of the football, but their excellent pass rushing rookies are kicking their asses right now. Dog, Aaron Rodgers got sacked 5 times. All 5 were rookie defensive linemen. It was incredible. It was amazing.
It's a good future for New York.
Oh, man. Ojulari and Thibodeau are coming along fantastic. That's going to be a fearsome defense coming soon. if they get like a Georgia class where they get like 3 of them fuckers, right? Like the way Philly did, they draft like 8 fucking defenders. You never know. Okay. This next game I have problems with, and I'm gonna need you guys to clear the waters up.
Okay.
Carolina goes to Baltimore, and it's Baker Mayfield. And Sam Darnold will dress, but he is not the starter.
I don't give a shit.
What the fuck are we gonna do with Donta?
Donta Foreman is still startable as far as I'm concerned.
That's a good Ravens defense.
I think it is absolutely absurd that
they're not playing Atlanta, dog.
It is absurd to me that fantasy projections are implying that Chuba Hubbard is gonna withdraw the volume that we've seen from Donta. Who has he played against that he didn't play well against?
No, Donta's done great. I'm not arguing against Donta. I love watching Donta.
I don't think Baltimore's rushing defense is that daunting.
When you put in Baker Mayfield.
Right. The only reason Donta suffers is if Baltimore gets so far ahead that they can't run.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
But
Mark Andrews, did you get my text from earlier, Ray?
I did.
Yeah.
But like I told you, I have Cole Kmet, so I'd probably not pick up Isaiah Likely.
I told Ray earlier that Mark Andrews has still not been fully cleared. He has not had a full practice week. And that if in the event that he does not go, Isaiah Likely is an incredible dart throw.
He's for sure.
Awesome rookie.
I think that's definitely a good pick.
He only had one pass, but it was a 25-yard touchdown grab.
9 points.
Immediately paid off.
Yeah.
As a fucking tight end, that's money.
He got no more targets the rest of the night.
That works.
Yeah. So, but Likely is supposed to be the successor to Andrews, and if they get them both on the field, good fucking luck, dude.
I would love to see that, just because I would love to see a double tight end offense. I don't know. Nobody.
They just can't block well enough for the run game right now for them to roll it out there. So they still have trouble with it.
Lamar Jackson is going to run himself.
Who's the slot receiver for Baltimore right now?
Not Duvernay. It was Duvernay.
No, Duvernay's number is the WR1.
Yeah.
That's my fucking question. Just pull that cunt.
Who?
Deshaun.
Bateman doesn't even.
Deshaun Jackson. Yeah.
Is it?
Wow.
He pulled his hammy his first game back.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Ross, hey, don't worry. I'll pull the roster.
Yeah, thanks. Go ahead. Brian, what we're waiting on. Appreciate it. But on the Carolina side, so you're playing Donta, right? Because he's played well.
Yes.
Right. Full stop. Are you playing any receiver?
For Carolina? No.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't even know who the receiver core is anymore.
How badly I want Terrace Marshall to be a thing.
Terrace Marshall. Chenault is in.
I want him to be a thing so bad. He's big. He's fast. He's awesome.
Where does Chenault play? Is it
Chenault's with Jacksonville now?
He had a catch for a touchdown.
Oh, I'm fucking stupid. He got traded from Jacksonville to Carolina. I'm stupid.
Carolina. So Chenault is in Carolina.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so that dude fucking will snipe touchdowns. It's very irritating. It's like Sherfield.
Yeah, I saw it last week.
It's like, fuck you, cunt. Let the relevant people score
Sherfield. He looks
touchdowns.
just like Waddle. I swear it's Waddle every time. And it's Sherfield.
Well, you also think that Tyreek Hill and Waddle look alike, and they don't look anything alike.
It's not that. It's the way they catch passes that I can't fucking tell. I can never see their number.
Looking at something else, or I'll be looking at a different game, and I'll hear, oh, touchdown Waddle. And I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, it was Hill. Fuck you, Jim. Stop doing that.
No, Sherfield gets me all the time, though. Sherfield gets me all the time. It's the same with KJ Osborne and Justin Jefferson. Same thing.
I don't think they look
tall,
anything alike. I think you're
tall, lanky dudes.
I think you need glasses, brother.
Anyway, on Baltimore side, so J.K. Dobbins is still not back. He's supposed to be good to go off of IR.
I thought he was out for the season.
I thought so too. Hold on.
I thought I was thinking of Bateman. Dobbins is not out for the year. Dobbins was just on IR.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's been practicing.
Are you not thinking about J.K. Dobbins, who was out right after he came in?
J.K. Dobbins still on IR.
Yeah, he's still on IR. He's not out for the year.
Oh, I thought he was out for the year.
Well, he had a strain to his newly constructed knee when he came back. So they're just taking it slower with him, but he's not been dismissed for the year. Gus Edwards had some growing pains, which was to be expected from how big an injury he came back from. He's an incredibly talented back. It's the Saquon schedule. It's going to take a year or two, man, for that knee to ever be right. It's going to take time. They don't come back like that.
They have never taken care of their running backs. They've never treated them kindly.
They get hit so much, dude. It's so hard to be a Baltimore running back.
Your best chance at a Baltimore running back is Kenyon Drake right now.
Kenyon Drake.
I know that's
Gus Edwards. I know he's playing. I know they like him. Gus did not finish the game the last time he was out there.
Kenyon Drake's
is healthy.
The only one.
I like Kenyon Drake a lot more.
Yeah, I have no problem picking him up and starting him. Kenyon's done great. Okay, next one, a little bit gross. It's pretty gross. Commanders at the Texans. I'm not even going to mention a Texan if it's not Damian Pierce. It's not worth my time.
I'm excited for Eno. Let's go, Eno.
Eno is not even off the practice squad.
Well,
He's not even going to be in uniform.
What? Dude, the fact that they have him on the practice squad when Rex Burkhead is starting, this is just going back to my point. What the fuck is up with these teams not knowing how to use their running backs?
So apparently Rex Burkhead is like trying to retire right now.
Oh.
But they that didn't come out at first.
I don't give a shit.
Rex Burkhead wants to retire.
He should not be starting over Eno. Eno he's already started in an NFL game and proven how he can be as a solo starter.
If you put him out there right now with Davis Mills' offense, he will die.
He will not die. He'll be fine. Damian Pierce is done. Oh, is Damian Pierce dead? Damian Pierce is a rookie, and he's been absolutely fine.
Damian Pierce has direct handoffs. He's not doing screens and dump offs.
I don't give a shit. I mean? This isn't Eno's first year. He can take a hit in the NFL.
Eno's a good player. He'll be fine. Washington side, I am playing Scary Terry. I am playing
Gibson.
Both Gibson and I'll flex Robinson.
I would flex Samuel as well.
I'll flex Samuel.
Their entire offense has been elevated since Taylor the Terror Heineke has come back in.
Sir.
Yeah. Listen,
I love Heineke.
We all love Heineke.
We love it.
However, I think we can all admit that him finishing dead last in fantasy quarterback last weekend is not great. He won.
No.
But at what cost?
Buddy. You got the W.
It doesn't matter. It's all about the dubs.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenny Pickett finished ahead of him? Oh, they did win last week, so I can't really talk shit.
They did win last week.
Don't worry. Dub City too. Don't worry about
it. The week before that.
2.0.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple.
Yeah. So you're playing a lot of the Commanders. I think this is a game they also try to get right for Logan Thomas, get him back into the scheme.
Shut the fuck up about
Logan
Thomas.
Into that. No. They need a tight end that can block and run. They have to.
Do not ever start Logan Thomas in fantasy.
No, not right now. Not for.
I don't care if he has a good week, 3 weeks in a row. Don't do it. Just don't do that.
Ray was at my house the last time he played Logan Thomas, and then he died in the game.
One catch.
That's a bit ago.
It was a dive, dude, but it was.
It wasn't even a big hit. He's just bitch made.
It just fell apart. Ray lost his fucking shit. We were in my house in Hawaii. Yeah, it's good time. Okay.
Loved it.
Okay. This might be the grossest one. This is the grossest one.
Are we sure?
Raiders go to the Broncos.
Yay.
Ooh.
Portland Sutton comeback game, baby.
Ooh.
Both these teams suck. These teams are trash teams.
These teams are awful.
I'm loving Josh Jacobs.
Start Denver's defense, though. Denver's defense is amazing this year. It's unbelievable how well
news
they play.
for you.
Yes.
This is from the coaching team, the new coaching team of the Raiders. Hunter Renfrow is the worst multimillionaire in the NFL. Yeah. He is the worst receiver on an active roster, and they cannot stand him.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember.
Hunter Renfrow made $32 million this year.
Just
after a couple year last year.
So for sure, that head coaching staff is fucking brain dead, like literally retarded.
I love Renfrow.
They've all had lobotomies. It's not even a discussion. Yeah. Watch the tapes from last year. Don't fucking tell me he's the worst starting wide receiver. How are you going to tell me he's trash when you haven't even thrown to him? Yeah. He's got like 8 targets on the fucking year. Yeah. He's never had more than like 3 or 4 targets.
I don't know where they're getting at, dude.
We have technology.
Let's you would love that.
Bro, yeah, I was like, that's embarrassing.
You guys are 2-8.
You guys have Devontae Adams that can't win fucking games, but you're going to tell me who is and isn't a good receiver? Kill yourself. Get the fuck out.
For the Raiders, Brian, you playing Jacobs?
Of course.
Yes. And Hunter Renfrow has over. What?
I'm with Brad.
Hold on.
Derek had 5 points against Denver.
Tell me.
Hold on.
Henry.
Back train up. I missed something.
Targets over Hunter
Jacobs.
Renfrow.
Are you playing Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs?
I'm not playing.
No.
Absolutely.
Stop. We have a discussion with that. Just get the Renfrow shit out of the way. How many targets did he have on the year?
He had like
on this year right
26, 27.
This year? He has 26? Where?
Roughly 26, 27.
At this point in the season, you should have 85.
Of course.
Yeah, he doesn't
your point is still proven.
Okay, anyway.
CeeDee Lamb has 91.
Back to Josh Jacobs. What the fuck do you mean you're not starting Josh Jacobs?
Are you serious right now?
If I have 2.
Brian, you don't have a choice.
If I have 2 great running backs, I'm not.
No.
Don't have 2 great running backs though, so I don't know why you're talking.
All I need to know is last time we played Denver.
Dante over Jacobs.
You're out of your fucking mind. Why?
Who?
Against Denver.
Okay, maybe this week because Denver has a great rushing defense.
That's our point.
Okay.
I don't know. Last time Jacobs. Last time.
I'm playing Jacobs because
played Denver. He went for 28 carries for 144 yards.
All he has to do
2
is keep
tutties.
running.
That was a big game.
I bet this
luxury,
is the.
I'm looking at the numbers, dog. I don't know what you're going to do here.
Week. The Raiders' defense has gone down every week that we've watched the Raiders.
It has.
They get worse every time they're on the field. And
them waving Abrams, my brain exploded. That is an incredibly offensive safety.
We say this every week for Russell. This is his week to prove it because he keeps playing shittier and shittier teams. And he really hasn't done fuck all with the opportunities to be given. If he can play well against a team, this is the only team that he can do it. Literally, there's no one worse.
That is the defense to play well against. The Texans.
Okay, the Texans. The Texans have probably
the Texans and Raiders are at the bottom of the league.
They're literally the two worst defenses.
They're like,
if you can't find Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy against this defense, this secondary,
I can't help you.
You can't win in any. You can't win against anyone.
It's a wrap.
Carson Wentz 3 weeks ago when he fucking hurt his hand is going to beat you. You remember that game against the Bears, and I was shitting on both those teams because
99 yards.
Both those teams are going to beat you if you can't fucking find Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton in this week.
Yep. Jerry Jeudy's out this weekend,
Sutton, probably. If they're going to have a good week, this is the week Sutton has his only good week. He's had 20 points.
I would have done the same thing you've done all year. I would continue to play Sutton and just hope for the fucking best. I would.
Bruh. I've never done this with the receiver. This is the only receiver I've ever held on to this long.
It is a big hope, Brian.
But he did play really well for me this start of the season, to be fair. He's had 3 bad weeks. That's it.
Yeah. We're starting to get into 2 of the beefy, great afternoon games. I know we talked about Cincy at Pittsburgh. Dallas goes to Minnesota. That should be.
I like that matchup.
I think Minnesota's
that's a great game.
Funny enough, Dallas is favored.
What? After that loss to fucking
touchdown.
After that loss to Green Bay. And after that win against Buffalo, they're favoring Dallas. I think Buffalo's going to absolutely molest them.
Dallas chose to lose that freaking game.
But that's
what Dallas does. They choose to lose games.
They were up 28-14 in the third, and they lost that game.
That's the Dak special.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
2
I'm going to
picks
score
later,
8 touchdowns and lose anyway. I'm going to throw for 600 yards and lose anyway. That's what Dak does. That's what Dallas does. It's crazy to me how they went 5-0 with Cooper Rush. Dak comes back and they're losing again. They score more,
but they're still at a higher level. They're still a higher level team.
It's weird to me. I don't know how that works.
It is.
But Minnesota coming off of a big win, and I don't give a fuck what any Buffalo hater says. That was a big win. That was an intense game.
It was a massive win. That was probably the best win of the year.
And both sides fought like crazy in that game. Them coming off of a win like that, I don't know. Kirk Cousins can Cousins it up for sure.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that is going to allow Dak to win.
In a dome.
So you've got Dak and you've got Cousins. Who's going to do their bullshit more? That's who wins. That's who's going to lose, right? If Cousins it up real fucking good and Dak holds it steady, Dallas will win. But Dak also does dumb shit.
I am plugging in.
Dak does do that.
I am plugging in CeeDee Lamb and not even looking twice. I am playing CeeDee Lamb every weekend. The rest of the year, it's
probably. I guess.
No-brainer.
I don't think there's any reason to not.
Same with Dalton Schultz. Same with Dalton Schultz.
It's a tight end. I think that flavor of the week, man.
At tight end, that could go for 40.
CeeDee Lamb.
I don't know about 40.
Well, CeeDee has a record best. My point being that he's very involved in the offense.
CeeDee Lamb.
That's
a start.
I know I've talked to some people that are in all kinds of different leagues, and some people are a little bit nervous about starting Dak. Not just this week, but in general.
I am too.
That's fair, Brian.
I'm on that. Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Okay, so let me give you my 2 cents on it, and then you can try and retort. So even with piss poor play, Dak will be towards 20 points. He'll throw probably, let's say, 2 interceptions. He'll still probably get you 20 points because he scores touchdowns.
With 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, literally last week, fucking 19 points with 2 picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yardage and tutties. Yeah, I mean, and actually the other thing you saw last week was Dak ran. Dak ran the football. Yeah. Dak ran for a touchdown. I mean, that was an awesome thing to see. It was a great game. So it was like a 5-yarder.
No, that was a bad game. They lost to Green Bay.
I'm saying to see Dak leave the pocket ever is encouraging.
Yeah, no, I told you his ankle healed. He came back on. I'm immediately back on the Dak hate train. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
fuck that. I am starting him though in my buy-in league. So
yeah, I'm playing Lamb. I'm playing Schultz. Zeke is back, by the way. Are you playing Pollard or Zeke?
Pollard.
Pollard. That's
Zeke sucks.
I think Zeke's the pass.
Zeke is a fraud. I'm sick of him taking points for Pollard.
People don't understand that. They paid, again, money. They pay
record
too much
money to a running back.
Just let him sit on the bench and let Pollard run.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Play Zeke.
Does Zeke have incentives to play?
Yeah. Every running
He's
back
not
does.
playing then. I'm not going to give you an opportunity to make your
He
incentives.
already had most of it guaranteed.
All right, well,
it would be negligible.
Maybe if it doesn't matter, all I'm saying is Jerry Jones is a greedy, long-nosed piece of shit. And
that's why
if
he's saying that about Zeke, then he's already paid him a lot.
Fair enough.
And I will agree to anybody who says it. I like Pollard over Zeke any day of the week.
Sure, I will. I am concerned.
I'm going to be the one who says, "Hey, Pollard, you're going to start over Zeke."
No.
Unfortunately, not. Unfortunately, I know how they're going to tell me Zeke's starting. Zeke hasn't done much of anything all.
He's a fraud. He's a thief.
No.
It's a bandit. He's just taking shit from Pollard.
And it's bad. Like, there shouldn't be that much of a difference between backups, but your backup is actually way better than your starting running back.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't think either Zeke or Pollard will not be in Dallas next year. Don't know who. Probably Zeke, if I had to bet.
Well, hopefully not Zeke. They got to figure it out.
Yeah. On the Minnesota side of the ball, Brad, real quick, are you picking any dart thrower, and who would you pick for the Cowboys? That's not CeeDee Lamb or Schultz or Dak.
I might
Give
go
me
Gallup.
dart. Yep.
I might go Gallup.
I like Gallup.
But
do you know who's back, Brian?
Gotta hear this. Who?
Washington from Pittsburgh is back from IR for the Cowboys.
James.
He is finally back. He had a complete hamstring tear.
Really?
It took 2 months to rehab it.
Yeah, don't start that bitch.
No, I would not. I would not recommend that. But Washington is getting back in.
I pray for him to be out there and play the game. That he
You said Washington?
So
Which Washington?
He what's is it Nate? What's his first name? James Washington. James Washington.
Is it James Washington?
Figure it out.
I'm a
You don't fucking know.
Yeah, I know. Well,
So is this idiot. He doesn't know who it is. All three of you motherfuckers from that pit area. You don't know shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
so yeah, I mean, he's back. But Minnesota's time. Obviously, I'm not going to call the obvious ones. It's just stupid. I actually do like Thielen in this matchup just because a lot of the focus will be on Jazzy
He's been
Jeff.
a flex all year. I don't think there's any reason to pull
he's
him.
getting the targets, man.
Yeah.
He's getting the targets. You have to like that. Dalvin Cook is probably going to be harassed by Micah Parsons this game. One of the two things is going to happen. Either you play him. Yeah, you don't have a choice. I mean, Dalvin Cook, you probably took the first or second round. It's going to be way high. I truly don't know. I was genuinely surprised that the Cowboys defense got smacked by the Packers. I need some answers this weekend. I need some answers because they're playing a good Minnesota team that's had a lot of really close games. They stick around. They stick around. They stick around. Touchdown with 3 seconds left. That's a lot of what the Vikings have done this year. I got to see if that was just a fluke, or is it just that, they just got fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is a get right game, and they have to. This is a huge NFC battle. This is big time.
It's big for both these dudes. So the thing
especially the Cowboys,
the Minnesota's offense, we know that they're good, right? Like, I think the worst player on that offense is Kirk Cousins, and the problem is that he's such a problem for that offense. Somebody did not. I said Justin Jefferson is the number one receiver in the league, except for the fact that he has Kirk Cousins thrown to him. They're like, he's on track to blah, 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 and you think he's being held back? I'm like, have you watched Kirk Cousins throw to him? Obviously,
any other quarterback, he would be like undisputable. Yeah. Here's my thing. The dynamic that has changed for Minnesota that is actually truly scary is Hawkinson, who gets 10 fucking targets a game.
What an absolute fucking
It is consistent, right? I mean, they could have traded half a dynasty for him, but he's played phenomenal football.
Yeah.
He has not missed a beat. Now, it's not a super complex offense. Hey, run this way. It's pretty much the Vikings offense, right? Because the whole play is to give Jazzy Jeff. And if he's triple coverage, all right, I guess I'll throw to Hawkins. It's pretty much how it goes. Sure. But that makes that team lethal. And that's the part. Like, they were good. They were pretty good. Now it's like, ooh, Thielen, Hawkinson, and Jazzy Jeff. Listen, man, it's getting dicey in a hurry. Kind of like the San Francisco. Right? You gotta pick your poison. How do you want to die?
It's so impossible to cover San Francisco right now.
How do you want to die?
It's impossible.
But they are on bye this week. Oh no, I'm sorry, they're the Monday night game. Excuse me. And then we finish Sunday with the Chiefs going to the Chargers, and then the Chargers are in a emergency mode. They have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams back. I don't know if they're healthy. I don't know how 1 week Keenan couldn't fucking walk and the next he's playing. I don't know how that works. I'm certainly not playing him.
He shouldn't
You
play.
could not pay me to play him.
It's a mistake to play.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be.
Mike Williams actually was very, very
factor.
close last weekend. He was super healthy. They just wanted to be super sure. They held him out, but he did warm-ups. He looked great. I don't have any concerns about Mike Williams.
Outside of Mike Williams, pulling to Mike Williams.
Well, okay, another thing Ray was at my house for is when Mike Williams needed 2 catches and got 1.
Uh-oh.
The whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Did I?
And he got thrown at like 5 times, but it was like a pass interference every time.
Idiot.
What
No,
the
he's
fuck?
dropping passes. I don't know. He's
Yeah, it was a bad game. It was crazy.
Hello?
Ray had, I think it was he played Slink, I think, and Slink was like undefeated. And like Ray's like, all right, got him. I just need 2 grabs, and he did not have it. Turns out.
I could not. I went from being like 99 to 1 so fast because it was even they knew they're like, this idiot's not catching anything tonight.
There's no way.
Unbelievable.
Brian, it's kind of like, do you remember when I was playing against Cup in the playoffs for that fantasy year, and Cup just had to do, it was like 14 points, and Cup had like 6 deep into the 4th, and I was like, no fucking way. No, 5 grabs later, they took care of business. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Kansas City side, actually, Brad, I think you might like what I pulled a little sneaky. I don't know if anyone saw. I grabbed Sky Moore, who is now
bye, Brian.
He'd be back. Sky Moore now projected for 12.5 points because he's the returner. He's also the receiver too because Juju and Mecole are out.
Okay. So Sky Moore is WR2 right now because those 2 dudes are out, right? I don't think he returns then. I think Pacheco returns.
But Kadarius Toney is receiver 1.
I thought Toney
turns
was the
out
returner.
Pacheco is not returning anymore.
Oh,
period.
okay. Well,
I saw his points got a huge adjustment.
No fantasy value then.
I don't know how you can play him right now. Honestly,
he's got nothing going for him in any league.
20 carries is a big deal last week, but
Toney was returning punts last week.
Tony's an incredibly talented dude. That makes sense.
I hate that he's like us. Well, for fantasy value, I would love to have him with him returning because I know that he's going to get these like
too bad the black
grabs.
hole got you again, Ray.
Bro, Labite is making me angry. I cannot believe
the black hole.
I know that Toney would be available if it weren't for auto draft, and I would have been able to pick him up. But no,
you might not have. I might have grabbed him because I like Toney.
No,
I knew he was great last year.
I would have beaten you to him.
But I wouldn't have held him all this long because he hadn't played. Right? I would not have known he was going to be traded to Kansas City. He definitely could have been on the free agency.
All I'm saying is fuck Labite for that one.
Yeah. The black hole got you again, buddy.
Yeah, you got my ass.
He was like, "Oh, let me go grab him, motherfucker."
I think Toney probably
Toney has a game
well. I don't know how well Sky Moore is going to play. I don't know a lot about him.
Sky Moore has followed the same trajectory as Christian Watson. The difference being that they had other choices. They don't in Green Bay. Christian Watson had to perform.
Sure.
Sky Moore didn't. He has the luxury of developing under a whole regime.
So,
and that's why it's looked like that.
Then, are you saying? So what I'm hearing is McKinnon is now a potential like dart thrower.
He probably balls out today on Sunday.
Yeah,
I would pick McKinnon
he's
to
their number
ball
one pass catching back.
Mm-hmm.
They made that.
They didn't even
clear.
throw at Pacheco.
It wasn't
and
even.
CEH is droppable. You can't play CEH.
Go.
There's no way.
Go, baby.
Already dropped him. Be gone.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Chiefs said to CEH. Go. Just go.
Be gone.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
So I think that's like my best dart throw for Kansas City is McKinnon.
Yeah, I'll take McKinnon. I'll agree with you on that one. Toney, I don't think is a dart throw. I think Toney has a good game regardless.
He's going to get targets. He has to because there's only 2 receivers.
Look, man, when I sent you that Twitter video,
because Kelsey is
what Toney was drafted in the first round for is the change of direction ability is otherworldly, and it really is almost impossible to grab him on the field. It really is an awesome thing. I don't like the childish behavior, and it speaks volumes about his character, what happened in New York. And for me, like as a person, I don't give a fuck for this dude. But as a fantasy player,
here's the thing, man.
You play dudes that play well.
I don't know if I can put that all on him. I don't.
How can you tell me that Brian Dable's going to turn around New York and then say like, I'm not playing for this motherfucker? They're 7-2.
I don't think
they have a better
that.
record than the Chiefs.
It's been like this with Toney since they drafted him.
He was like that last year.
His statement was that the organization didn't want him, right? If that's the case, if he felt like his coaches didn't want him, he's not going to hurt himself playing for a team that doesn't want him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Sure.
you know what? I am being overly critical of a situation. I find it hard to believe that the culture Dable created was that toxic that fast.
Well, like I said, I
know.
think it was a relationship.
When you talk about ownership, that's
it was
fair.
burnt before Dable got there. Is
It
what
had
I'm
to have
saying.
been. It had to have been. The
He's
same
a weird
reason
dude.
why
He seems nice enough. I mean, he's a weird fucking dude.
he's a weird
but
guy.
he seems nice enough from what I've seen of him, like in his interviews and when he's talked about playing.
You're playing. Obviously, I will agree with you, Ray. If any RB, I'm playing McKinnon. Obviously, Kelsey, Mahomes, Tony, and that's just on volume alone. I think you're going to see a pretty different Chiefs offense this weekend, just
It'll
because
be interesting.
So many pass catchers are out.
Pacheco might also be more involved now.
30 carries. He might legit get another 20, 25 carry game. He might. And if that's the case, of course you can flex him, because if he doesn't fumble that's a 10.5 point game he has last week. And the fumble knocks him down to 8.5. But all right, Chargers. Ray, you're a Chargers shareholder.
So
I'm one of them.
I don't believe Keenan Allen should start. I'm not going to pray that he does not.
I will play
receivers. If he sits, you can start Mike Williams.
He was fully cleared today. Both were fully cleared.
I do not give a fuck if he was fully cleared. Tre'Davious White has been cleared since halfway through the season.
That's fair. But that's a defender as opposed to a high-profile receiver.
It is not just a defender. Don't get me started on that shit. Keenan Allen should rest for the rest of the season, if not the rest of the regular season. Yeah. If he does not play, or I know
he bums around for 30 plays.
Let's just say he doesn't play at all. Carter is startable, almost definitely.
Yeah. Palmer too?
Probably Palmer. So now, when Mike Williams and Keenan were out, it was like 56 to 59 snaps between Carter and Palmer, respectively, right?
Sure.
Carter caught everything that Herbert threw to him. And one of those things was
he's a good talent.
He had a 20
Palmer
point
and
game.
Carter are good.
So, if they both are starting, and it looks like Keenan is going to play the whole game,
he'll at least dress up.
You can't play Palmer and Carter, though, if they're going to play a full game. Brian, you suck.
No.
You're trash.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Anyway,
what happened? Am I not there anymore?
Recording.
I would love for Carter to continue to be playable. I just don't think that's realistic if these dudes are coming back.
I need to riddle me this Batman moment, Ray. What the fuck happened to Everett last weekend?
Everett
had a great start, and then he didn't play the second half.
Well, they just
they were nuking it.
Not, and I want to say something.
Is that what happens there?
Because this is pretty important, right?
2-on-2. Yep, he got both the starters.
If you're having Herbert start, this week is a make or break for Herbert.
It is. I agree.
I think if Herbert comes out and only gives you less than 15 points, I am officially putting somebody else in his position.
Sure. I mean, it's almost too late this season.
If you're in a 12-man league,
Danny Dimes has been more consistent.
12 better. Well, hell, there's 13 better quarterbacks currently. And I guarantee at least one of them are in the free agency.
He's on your free agency. I promise you that.
Okay, so...
Unless Ray's team, that league.
Hey, man, I got Tannehill. I don't need fucking Herbert.
It worked out. Right? That was crazy. You should have seen this free agency. It was crazy. Bro.
So, Everett caught 2 out of 2. I don't know. They just started playing farther down. They started playing farther downfield. Yeah. Herbert wasn't doing checkdowns, which is also why Eckler had a bad game.
He did.
Did you know that Eckler is like in the top 3 of in receptions this year?
He's on pace to break total, every record.
But it's like there's Tyreek, and then you have Diggs and I think Jefferson, and then Eckler is in like the 3rd tier of receivers, like 60 plus. Insane.
He's that big a deal.
He's a fucking receiver right now. It's driving me nuts. His rushing yards are really high, so that's why he's not. I'm not going to call him a receiver. But
he's been doing both
lots of checkdowns, and they just weren't involved. They didn't really attack the short game, and I think that has to do with San Francisco's coverage, right?
It was good. It was a good defensive play.
Herbert was putting the ball. Well, I think Herbert was putting the ball where he had opportunities. Carter and Palmer played really well. They got in positions that they needed to. Like Carter's touchdown was like I think he put 5 feet in between him and the defender. So it's like Herbert just dropped the ball right down into his hands, you know. So.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was just curious if you knew anything about, like, because I saw he had the Q tag all week.
As far as I'm concerned, Everett is a solid tight end, so I don't think it was performance related at all. I think it was play calling entirely. Don't expect that to happen every week.
I think he actually had a hip pointer or something. I thought he was still injured, is what I was tracking. But I know he didn't play because he had a hip pointer for the second half. That's why Everett wasn't out there. And they had some random fucking dude out there. Anyway.
You were saying something about that. Like, why the fuck is Everett
he got dinged. Yeah, I saw Everett with no helmet on. I was like, what the fuck is going on? He's their best dude.
Anyway. Again, they weren't doing checkdowns, so maybe
it wouldn't have mattered.
I don't think they needed it.
Wouldn't have mattered.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, everyone's pretty well versed on the Chargers receiver situation by this point in the year, right? If Mike Williams plays, you kind of really can't play Palmer. If Keenan and Mike play, you can still play Carter because odds are Keenan won't do a full game. You probably still play him as well.
You can probably flex him, I would say.
Yeah, I would still say he's playable. Okay. And then we finished up the week in Estadio Azteca, Mexico City, with the Niners playing the Cardinals.
Nice.
High altitude, higher than Denver. And the players
Mexico
have reported
City
problems
is a higher
all week.
altitude than Denver?
It's almost 9,500 feet.
I didn't fucking know that.
Crazy high. They have had trouble all week long practicing. Dudes have been running out of breath. Field goal kickers have been great, which if you notice, I went and got Robbie Gold back.
I don't give a shit.
Because of the high altitude.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Because the kicker's a kicker.
Who fucking
cares, right?
Gives a
Who
fuck.
cares? Anyway, if he breaks the NFL record, though, I would be like, oh, goal.
If he breaks Justin Tucker's 72-yard record, get the fuck out of here.
He's got 4,000 feet of elevation.
Shut up.
So, anyway.
There's no oxygen particles to block the ball. Shut the fuck up,
There's
Jim.
no friction. It just floats to the moon. So, San Francisco side, I mean, you know what's crazy?
All of them.
Is,
you can start all of those dudes. Or you can flex
Elijah
most
Mitchell
of them.
lost nothing.
Yeah.
He lost nothing.
Yeah. I held him all
Elijah
season.
Mitchell
He
played
was still
great.
startable. Love that.
And he's still, you will continue to flex him.
Yep.
He probably isn't RB1 anymore. That's okay.
Of course not.
But RB2 and flex and higher flex. I would not say low flex, high flex.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Kittle,
he almost got that touchdown, and that would have been a great game for him. I mean, he was
that would have been
close.
solid.
This close.
Yeah, and then Jimmy G's fucking lumbering ass
Dork.
walked in. Anyway, so, you know, I actually think this is a big time Kittle game. He always plays high with against Arizona. He always balls up.
I mean, if you're talking about historically how they use him, that's an argument.
Historically, they didn't have Christian McCaffrey, so that's fair.
Right. So that's my thing. Is it's just like at this point with the weapons that they have, he's needed so much for blocking.
Yeah,
it's rough. And what sucks is Kittle is so good at his job.
Yeah,
they oftentimes
can't leave
him blocking. Yeah. Jason Kelsey made a joke on New Heights. Just a quick plug there. Go watch the Kelsey Brothers podcast.
It's a good one.
So they were talking about tight ends, and he was like, "Yeah, it's because he blocks too much. You know, just be like my brother." He didn't say this, but this is what he was implying. He's like, "Just be like my brother here, and just don't block and just run routes, and you know you'll get thrown to all the time." And of course, Travis is like, "That's not how it works." We all know that's exactly how it works. If you're blocking, you're not running routes, and that's why Kittle.
You line up in the slot. Kelsey.
Travis, get your ass out the slot. Throw a blocker to you, bitch. So Kittle blocks a lot, unfortunately, and he's blocking for Elijah Mitchell. He's blocking for Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Debo. He's just too good at what he does. Yeah, and it works. So why would they stop doing it?
How have y'all felt about Debo's year?
I think that he's played a little bit under where we expect him to, but some of that is McCaffrey, and some of it is.
But even before McCaffrey was there,
the run game has just been top notch. Even as a back,
there's no need for him to do his thing.
Well, Wilson played well. Yeah.
Now McCaffrey's succeeding. That's 3 running backs, all who have succeeded and put games together.
Yes.
Why throw the ball?
Yeah.
Not just why throw it, but why run it with Debo?
Win on the ground.
Also, don't risk your star receiver. In my opinion, Brandon Ayuk is the best receiver on that team. In my opinion,
Brandon Ayuk is
just as like a receiver, not the top scorer, but I think he's the best.
He has
catcher.
Been affected zero by McCaffrey being the impact.
I think he's been the best route runner. I think he's got the best hands and the best speed. In my opinion,
he has snagged some darts out of straight interception. Boom.
Debo's just a better athlete, which is why he has more fantasy value because he played more. Now McCaffrey kind of
can run a tailback fine.
But why would you run with Debo when you have Jeff Wilson crushing it, right? You don't need to.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's tough.
So some of his value's gone down, but I think he still played well. 50. You can't say no to a receiver that gets you 15 points every week. It's like Chris Godwin. I'm going to start him every week because he's always getting me 15 points.
Yeah.
No touchdown, he's going to get 15 points because he's that good.
On the Arizona side,
Yep.
we'll wrap up the week. Brad, you talked about the Zach Ertz stuff. Why don't you go ahead and lead us there? What's your logic?
Zach Ertz, so I know he went down against last week. I forget who they played last week. He went down last week. They weren't putting him on IR because they said, hey, your knee injury's season ending. He came out, was like, no, I'm going to have somebody else look at it. I'm not going to end my season like that. It is confirmed that his season is over.
Damn.
So his season is done. But here's another one that a lot of people probably don't know if you're not a big tracker of fantasy. But DeAndre Hopkins suffered a hamstring injury Wednesday.
Yeah.
But he practiced. He practiced today.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows where that's going to be in play? If Kyler starts, if Colt starts.
I don't think Kyler plays.
I don't care either way. Colt McCoy
Yeah.
fucking came in and just played fine, man.
Yeah.
Just played.
Yeah.
He threw to the dudes that he needed to throw to. I in my opinion, honestly, he throws to Rondale.
Rondale Moore had a great game,
and so it makes the offense better. Murray ignores Moore too much.
And Marquise Brown is also supposed to make a return at some point.
Yeah, I think it'll be a limited return. I'm excited for it, though. I'm glad that he.
It's not been fully activated yet.
I am projecting that Rondale Moore is more successful than DeAndre off of the injury alone, because it's a hamstring injury, and everyone's.
It's the injury, so he's going to be slower on his routes, and Rondale plays in the slot, so he's playing those cross routes, which are. Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, bad quarterbacks and quarterbacks playing tough defenses. They dump off more, which is exactly where Rondale Moore, and he's got speed, he's got hands. I love watching Rondale play well because it's just like anyone that's passionate about the game, I love to watch succeed. And I know that Rondale's that way because I've seen him talk about. I've seen him in the not the hype videos, but the like press videos when they're doing practice and shit. And he was talking to JJ Watt about his frustrations with not having trouble with the ball. And he's played well since he came back. So,
Hard knocks.
Yeah, I'm excited for that game.
The last thing I'll plug to for Arizona, and this is this is just because I watch a lot of college football. The backup for Zach Ertz was a highly drafted tight end named Terry McBride. Yeah. Terry McBride for Colorado State. Listen, dude, this dude's a baller. He hasn't had the time on the field, and it will take time for him to understand what's going on. He's a baller. He's way faster than you think, and he actually blocks fantastic. So he's a lot like Isaiah Likely in the sense of like what he holds for the future of that franchise. Mm-hmm. They just did not have intentions of putting him over Zach Ertz. No, it was never going to happen.
Ertz is just
right. Same as like, look, man, we can talk about all we want, but Likely is not ever starting over Andrews.
Oh,
it's
never going to happen without injury. No. They'll pull him in for a couple plays, but that means fantasy wise,
he's not relevant. But it still is not his field for a long time, right? Or not for as long as we can see. And it's the same for McBride. But now, if Andrews went out with a torn ACL, what would Likely be? Right? And so that's the question that they're going to ask about Terry McBride. I can't wait to watch. I think it'll work. I think he has a chance of being a huge playmaker. They love their tight ends in that Cliff Kingsbury offense. Zach Ertz has been incredibly consistent. Like, he gets his targets. He's had a couple of bad drops this year, which are unlike Zach Ertz. But he still would get a minimum 8 targets a game, minimum. Right? Falls into the end zone, it's a 15, 20-point game for you, right? So that's the way Zach Ertz has played. Do I expect that from this guy? No. Be fair. Give him some time. It'll just take time. But that is all I have for the Arizona Cardinals.
I think
that's all I have for
this weekend. I have a question real quick. So Darrell Williams is coming back off of injury, right? And I talked about Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I talked about Williams before the season. He was sneakily like a flexible running. Like, he had 10+ points every week last year for Kansas City, because they just mistreat their, Clyde. They just mistreat him, and then they would use fucking Williams for like first downs and shit. So like he would always have 10 points. So I don't see any reason why he can't do that in Arizona, right? As long as the play calling is similar.
Team chemistry has me concerned.
I think that they disrespected Eno because of whatever was going on with that trade. I'm not going to speak to that because it's not like I have inside knowledge. I know what I know about Eno, and to me, I don't see that he was the problem. So it seems to
No
me
one
like the
thought he
organization
was.
had an issue. I think that they limited his snaps and carries, like his hands on the ball, because they were planning on getting rid of him. I don't see them doing that with Williams. I think it would be insane of them to do what they did with Connor 2 weeks in a row. I think you do that to Connor 2 weeks in a row, and he's going to come up broken again. And then you're up shit creek without a paddle. So maybe Williams is flexible. I think you can definitely start James Conner in the flex.
And see, again, this is another week where James Conner and Josh Jacobs, they're both going up against a phenomenal running defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with James Conner is checkdowns, right? Is it's like, here's a 10-yard dump.
Job done.
Yeah.
Which actually was never a part of his game in Pittsburgh. He actually has developed an incredible pass catching game.
But
out of nowhere.
If Murray does his little toddler hop to get over the fucking defensive line and then dumps it off to Connor, that's 2 points right there.
Well,
right?
then again, if Tyler doesn't play.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he had a 30-point game with Colt McCoy last week, but that was against a very different defense. So I don't like Connor. I'm not starting his ass because I'm not picking him up. But for those of you that like him,
Raymond,
you can probably start
year,
him.
He was a massive part of your team.
He never started. What are you talking about?
He was in your lineup.
I'm pretty sure
he was on my bench the entire year.
Brad, Raymond is lying.
I just remember him being on the team.
I'm not lying.
I just remember
he was on my roster, and I held him. I held him because Brock wanted him. Be quiet, you lying slut.
No.
Brock wanted him. I keep knocking my camera
Connor
over.
was a huge component.
No, he
wasn't.
Offense. What the fuck are you talking about? These were my running backs all year. Leonard Fournette and Joe Mixon. That's who I started all year. They never came out. They never came off my roster except for their bye week. Even when I was mad at Mixon, I didn't start Connor over him. I held on to Connor because Brock wanted him, and I refused to give Brock
the house to you, and he wouldn't give it.
And I would not give it up because he wanted Connor badly, and I knew that as soon as I gave Brock a good running back, he was going to stomp.
He was going to dominate.
Yeah.
Okay. That is all I have for us this week. I'm actually going to just smash. I'm going to do a 1-part, 2 parts on the series just because we had a little bit of a breakup a little bit, and it kind of restarted the clock. But they'll do 1-part, 2-part. It'll be fine. Anybody who wants to watch an extended episode will get that opportunity.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Anything else for the folks at home, guys? No? Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining. I know it was
I missed a little bit of it.
You're an idiot.
You're right. You had your stuff. You got to talk about
It's not my fault. I don't control the internet.
It's fine. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Catch us next week. We're doing the same thing for week 12, ever closer to the fantasy playoffs.
Yes, sir. You have a great one.